I'm super happy to be here today, and thanks for the invite. Let's get started. Right. An intro to the topic I have, and some of you probably have heard it before when trying to contact the support line over a device that does not work. And probably the first question you would get is, have you tried to restart it? Well, for me, going for a restart is something kind of a last resort thing to do, and it is something that you do when nothing else works. So with this example, I want to say that we should be always looking for a real improvement instead of half-baked solutions or hiding behind the restart. I was thinking of adding several bullet points about myself, but I decided that I'll give you several companies I have worked for. So it all has started around 17 years ago when I took on full-time job at my university. After finishing my studies in the IT field, I moved on to the project-driven organization. Later on, I decided to join the finance sector. From there, I moved on into the insurance domain, and then the gaming industry came. After that, I have decided that, well, it would be really nice to go back to the finance sector again, so there I am. And finally, I have landed the job in the cybersecurity company that I am working ever since. Just to get the expectations right, my goal for this speech is to feed your brain, and I hope I can do that. As the saying goes, in an IT world, there is no silver bullet, just a lot of context and caffeine. Nevertheless, if you see or hear anything that you like, feel free to carry it over to your field of duties. Several words about my company. Well, the company that I work for, it is not mine yet. QLTY, it is a 10-year-old cybersec company that specializes in providing network security solutions. We have several offices around the globe, and we have over 250 employees worldwide. So though we are small, but the numbers are rather big, so we are currently protecting more than 60 million homes. And that translates into covering over 3 billion devices. And we are also trusted by 16 largest network providers. So QLTY delivers cloud-based services to the customers who are the network service providers. So it is a B2B business model. And they integrate our services into their backends, consuming our APIs. So this is how they expose the security features for the network to their customers, who are the internet consumers. So in the end, the internet users get the benefit of having an insight, an overview, and control over their network using the app. Now, before trying to improve anything, I would like to tell you some stories what happens when it goes bad. So at QLTY, we have a network monitoring team that are full of really interesting stories, and one of which comes exactly from them. One late night, they were observing an abnormal situation. They have noticed that there is a massive disconnect from our cloud. And under these conditions, we know it's a code red, nothing can potentially work. So they started to dig through the logs, and they have managed to pinpoint it's a certain geographical location. And soon after, they have realized that, well, there was a major power outage in Puerto Rico. So that's a relief. We don't get the blame. But the next one is on us. We have incorrectly evaluated a scenario, and we have accidentally blocked quite a few garage doors. So the users were stuck in the garage. Well, they could open it with the wall opener, but they wouldn't do that via the app. And the reason behind was this, that the garage door vendor, a major one, decided to migrate from one cloud to the other. So of course, our solutions picked that up because there was a change in the endpoints and everything, and it was decided that we should block it. It's just way too suspicious. Of course, we got a call about that, and now, of course, they are not still in the garage. The other case is the fraud case. The same team, network monitoring team, kudos to them, by the way, they have noticed that there is a single home network with ever-growing user count, and it was over 100 users already. You can't have family big like that, right? So we have reported this case to the network service providers, and soon after they came back to us with the feedback thanking that we have helped to identify a fraudster, a guy who lived on the block, and he was reselling his internet to all of his neighbors. Now, the last case is this. It's also on us. We have mistakenly blocked the fundraiser sites for some elections. And the reason behind was that those sites emerged after the night, over one night, and by the spread, it looked like a spam. All right. Dogfooding. This is not a new phrase, and some of you might be even using it without realizing or relating to it much. It actually dates back to the 70s. And I have managed to find a commercial that sets that plants the seed around the whole idea. You can scan the code if you want. But besides the definition that you see on the screen, by the way, it's AI-generated definition, I have a better for you. And it's called the employee scream test. Just to see if anybody gets to complain about the product that they and us are building. Now at QLTY, we call it Technology Preview Program. And since QLTY product is a protected network, so we cover both. So we have a home network and we have mobile network. In both of the cases, we have an internal app to manipulate all the security features. Now, at any point in time, any employee can ask to enroll into the program. And we have also extended this to include it into our onboarding plans. So during the first week, the new joiner gets to know about Technology Preview Program. He or she can even get the router within the same week and try to have a bite at it. So we have two networks to test against. It's a home network and a mobile network. So you can choose your level of involvement into the program by going either by the router, which is the only option for the home users, or on top of that, you can actually ask and get an app, which actually manipulates the router and the home security features. Now, for the mobile network, what you get is only one option, and well, obviously, that is an app. Now, this is an actual photo of our reference router that we use for the dogfooding technology preview program, I prefer. So besides the obvious, besides all the hardware that you get in the box, you also get a one-sheeter of the instructions that contain how to set up the router. How do we introduce the router in your home network? Which wire you have to plug in into which slot, and etc. With those instructions, it's actually like up to 5 steps. You also get an instructions how to get the apps installed and configured. Now, besides that, you also get the QR codes. Once scanned, you're directly pointed to the extensive knowledge base, so you can self-service yourself, or if that is not enough, you can be directed into our support channels. Now, this is a simplified view of the home network setup and the main components that interact between each other. So in the middle, we have QLTY-enabled router, and that basically means that our agent is running as a process in that router, and he does all the job. We have 2 types of devices talking to that router. So we have user-specific devices, the ones that user controls, and those are mobile phones, laptops, consoles, you name it. The other type of devices is IoT devices. And those devices, as you know, they communicate independently over the internet. So using these devices, they generate traffic. And that traffic gets captured by our agent within the router, and what it does, it sends over to our cloud, the backend, for analysis. And then the backend analyzes and says, okay, block this, pass that. And this heavily depends on the user settings. So let's name a few. For example, you choose to have a modal profiling enabled. And what does that do? Let's take an IoT device for an example. So you have a smart fridge at home, and suddenly, out of nowhere, it starts sending some files to a remote server. Our services would definitely catch that, and it would definitely get it blocked because it's way too suspicious, and you would get an alert in your app saying that, hey, this is something wrong, go and check it. Now, the other case could be the parental controls, which is rather popular and important for me as a father. So you may want to apply schedules that your kids are not allowed to use the internet at a certain hour, or they are not allowed to use or browse any adult content, so to say. So that is how it looks under the hood. And of course, we are using several interfaces to interact with these components. So as mentioned, we are using the mobile app to control the network and the security features, of course, also to interact with those devices. We are also using the command line interface, basically a terminal, because our agent is within the router. So what we have to do is SSH, and in order to talk to the router, we have to issue the agent-specific commands. Now, the third interface is talking to the backend, and over here we have several ways. So we either make the API calls, or we use the web portal to get the data from. Right, this is a test coverage picture. I know it is busy, but bear with me. So the green color indicates the deep testing focus. The yellow indicates high-level focus, like a side effect, so to say. And then in black, we have 3 domains to cover. And then on the first leftmost column, we have the team that is doing the actual job. So firmware integration to the cloud is fully covered by our firmware QA team. Now, the cloud is covered by the core team and the corresponding team to a certain product, and we have a few. So as you see that product Y team, they are focusing on product Y, but they are also testing product X. How can that be? Well, it is because each team, they are using different set of scenarios, and that means different coverage. So one team can help the other, and this is actually a very common case. Now, the last the last domain to cover is the end-to-end solution, which is the real cloud, real firmware, and the real device. And over there, we have several teams that address the testing. So it's a mobile team, they are testing their SDK. Then we have end-to-end quality team that does the alpha testing of the user acceptance testing piece. And then we have also the customer who does the rest, which is UAT beta type of testing. And this is exactly the piece where the technology preview participants contribute to. Now, just to explain myself a little bit, I think in the last slide I had UAT plus end-to-end. What does that actually mean? Well, in our case, the end-to-end is a business critical flows that are shared across all of our customers. And then the UAT piece is something that is each customer specific. So now if we add on top the technology preview participants, they of course contribute with the real cases. They also find a lot of and produce a lot of edge cases. They have their own set of devices that contribute to the coverage. And of course, they generate much more traffic than any testing would do. In my intro, on the LinkedIn, on the web portal, QLTYPulse.com, you have probably seen it, that I have been mentioning King Midas. What does that guy have to do with this? Well, for those who do not know, King Midas was a greedy person who ended up, whatever he touches, turning into a gold. My twist to this is whatever you touch may end up as your responsibility. So this is what happened to us, and I'm referring to the quality assurance folks. We were very naggy about the tech preview program. We said, hey, let's fix this, let's fix that, let's get rid of this, and etc., etc. Well, eventually it became our responsibility A to Z. So now we are driving, running, and maintaining the whole program. What does that mean? Well, it means, from the very basics, it means us ordering, configuring, even shipping the routers at the employees' doors. Then we also are involved in the release management of the apps, including their distribution. We also have completely revamped the knowledge base. And we started to dig into the data. We started to provide data, we started to provide reports to increase the engagement and transparency of the users, for the users. We also started to handle all of the communication, including marketing and especially remarketing after we tried to revive the whole program in the major company events. And yeah, and we were, and we are still responsible for providing all support out there, including the ticket triage, assigning the issues found to the correct team and ensuring that there is enough level of details to get it fixed. Now, improving the whole program, it's not only QA's job, right? Everybody was involved. And just to name a few things that we have contributed to, so the first thing would be the quality, of course. We have reached an agreement that technology preview environment gets production level treatment. That means that we have agreed that this environment has the SLA. This environment has the metrics and alerts set up, so we have the same famous network monitoring team looking at it. We have also managed to harden the quality gates, so before any code is promoted to the technology preview program, it gets regression tested, and we have managed to expand that regression suite. We have also added a functional monitoring piece for the firmware to cloud integration. We have also built some lightweight tools that are click away. You basically pop it up in the browser, you hit the URL, and you see the results. Very nice thing to do, because testing should be easy, right? And the last one, we have also made it a part of our QA internship program. That means that all the new guys and girls coming over to join us via this program, they get a bite and taste of our tooling during the process. The other thing we have improved, so besides several I have already mentioned, since currently it's not that easy to report a bug. It includes attaching the logs, getting them from the router, getting from the app, and etc. So we decided, okay, it's too complicated. We cannot get that implemented in the near future. Let's make a video. And this is what we did for both mobile platforms, which is iOS and Android. We have also achieved some improvements over in the firmware field. We have formalized the router distribution process, which got much faster. We have also received nice features from the firmware development team. They have implemented automated updater. So now it checks nightly for the new image, and if there is one, it flashes automatically, as opposed to back in the old day, we had to SSH into the router, flash the image, and you also may brick the router. So this is really anticipated, a nice feature to have. We have also changed the firmware release process. Before it was time-boxed. Now the release process goes feature by feature. It means we get the new firmware build version only when the feature is completed. Now, regarding the engagement, I have mentioned a few, and I have a slide later on to touch upon. So now you have an idea how the technology preview or dogfooding program looks like at Kujo. But that is not the only thing. As mentioned, the technology preview environment, it is a Kujo production environment. And besides that, we have a few. And as you see, as many customers as we may have, I have mentioned 16, right? So each of them bring 2 to 3 environments of their own. So this is much, much bigger than you see on the screen. But for simplicity purposes, the left-hand side shows you the internal environments, and the right-hand side shows the customer-facing or the external environments. So one thing to note here is that the pipeline from the CI through staging into the technology preview environment is fully automated. So if we get a change pushed into the CI environment, it is automatically tested, and if the quality gates are passed, it is promoted to the next environment, which is staging. In staging environment, it is also automatically tested, and during the night, if the regression passes, the next day we get the new features over into the technology preview environment. This is an overview of the quality gates that we currently have. Yet again, it's a very busy slide. But as you see, there is a certain pattern that repeats between the environments. So let's take, for example, two. Let's take staging environment and the technology preview environment. So what happens when the service is deployed into the staging environment? First thing we do is we check the version. If we do that, we know that the deployment was successful because the version has changed. Now, the next thing to do is to do the health checking of the service. And why would we do that? It's because we want to know that the service is responding. So the right version, and it is responding. All good. Okay, now we proceed with the integration tests. If those are passing, we are moving on with the environment readiness test, which is actually a massive health checking of every other service within that environment. And only then the functional testing starts. We have different set of smoke tests, and if those are passing, then we have the regression testing going on. Now, in comparison, it's very much alike, and it goes across most of the environments. For the technology preview environment, we add on the performance testing. We have soak testing for the firmware piece. We also have occasional penetration testing within this environment. And we also do, of course, the end-to-end and UAT testing, and I have marked exactly where the dogfooding stands. Now, this is all good. We have technology preview program. We have a lot of tests. To name a few: firmware, cloud, subsystem tests, product tests. What can go wrong? Well, actually, the things can go wrong because we have many environments, and because of the delta between the environments in terms, those environments are very different in configuration and in size. And for that reason, the risks may slip through, and we may, as mentioned, we may experience the incidents. Now, by the way, that is called Swiss cheese model. You can look it up as well. So we cannot test it all, right? There is no full coverage. So if we cannot test it, how about we apply something else beside that? And the very powerful tool to apply is the observability. So with monitoring, we can either detect the issues, or we can also prevent the issues. Several things to mention, and those are the types that we are using at QLTY, is the operational monitoring, maybe the most obvious one, but we want to know that we are running in good state across all of the environments. Then the next one, and probably not a common one, is efficacy monitoring, and that is actually the efficiency monitoring. We want to know if, let's say, we claim that we will manage to identify 95% of the devices within your network. This is exactly what we do with these tests. We are checking if we are keeping the promises. The other two types are pretty straightforward and already touched upon, so I guess we can skim those through. Those were mentioned in the quality gates slide. All right. I have mentioned the engagement piece, and now we resume to this right now. We have been involved into multiple meetings. Actually, we are driving those meetings to get the feedback. And the more we try to get, of course, the more we receive. And eventually, it started to look like a laundry list. It's so big that it's like never ending. So we had to descope. And in order to descope things, you have to separate the wishful thinking. So what we did, we actually separated the things between what is possible, all that is possible, in comparison to what is actually reasonable. So this is the outcome of our aggregated structure, and this is the actual dashboard that we have used with our main stakeholders. After the discussions and using this information, we have managed to agree on the new technology preview version that we will be working on. Final remarks about the dog fooding, and I would like to mention only the last point because the other three are rather obvious. So to me, it is very essential to work to build the stronger connection between the work we do and the product that we ship. I have been involved and I aided to shipping products where you never hear about anytime soon or ever. And this creates this void feeling and it's rather demotivated. So I always advocate that product development should be a two-way street because it's much more engaging and rewarding to be working on a product that you get yourself to use. And the final slide, responsibilities. If you find yourself in the never-ending cycle of the responsibilities and it's ever growing, well, it's time to stop. You need to rethink and be very cautious of what you're getting into. You cannot take every responsibility at the same time. You have to be very intentional and touch the responsibilities that you actually want to own. Thank you.